Ali Akbarian, back again for another Q&A, your resident road safety expert at Mobility Engineering. Thank you for tuning in. We love it that you tune in every time. And thanks for sending us in your questions. Please send in more and more questions. We love the questions. We'll find the answers and we'll bring you more and more of that content to you this year. And as I always say, well, there we go. Please hit that subscribe button. Looks a little bit like that. Subscribe to the channel. We want to get to 1,000 subscribers this year. We'd love your support on that. And we'll bring you more and more content in appreciation of your subscription. So let's get into today's question. So today's question again is from another OT and it's talking about access steps. So we've got a few bits of information that they were after, which is not relevant to the video today. But what was relevant to the question was what they need to fit is a step underneath this bus or underneath the vehicle in order to get a person to step up one smaller step into the vehicle. So in this situation, their vehicle has got quite a large step up into the vehicle, into the doorway. And so their person that they're dealing with, their patient or client, basically is finding it difficult to lift their leg up to stand up. So they want to fit a step underneath it. So it kind of is in between the floor of the vehicle and the entrance door and the ground. Now, what they've asked is how high does the step need to be from the vehicle, from the ground, sorry. So the step, what you have is you've got, like, let's say this would be the ground, and then up here would be the step. They want to know what is the minimum distance you can have between those 2 points. And basically there is an Australian design rule for it, ADR number 43. I'll put a link to that ADR down below, just so you've got that information. And so the road rules specify that your car must be manufactured to the Australian design rules. And the Australian design rules have a section on vehicle configuration and dimensions. And it talks about basically what is your ground clearance. So what it does say is that your ground clearance at the lowest point, which I'm going to assume is going to be the step, at the lowest point cannot be any more than any less than 100 millimeters from the ground. So that's only around about that much. That's about 10 centimeters. So in terms of clearance, as long as you are more than 10 centimeters off the ground, then you're fine. Basically, that's all good. And the vehicle has to be fully loaded and all that kind of thing, right? However, there is a however and a disclaimer. That is the minimum requirement. That is the law. I always talk about, when I'm doing presentations and talks out there, when I talk about the laws, what I want people to understand is laws are minimum requirements. So laws do not guarantee safety. They do not guarantee comfort. They're not the best thing to go by. They are the minimum thing to go by. And the reason why I explain that is because what we have found is 100 millimeters in everyday driving is too low. What we find is that is the limit, but if you put it on one of your vehicles, you're going to be bottoming out. Well, let's put it this way. We fit steps here. We've got clients that fit steps here, and steps that are anything less than about 130 to 140 mil from the ground, so that's 13 to 14 centimeters from the ground. Those steps, we find that they're regularly coming in and either getting replacement steps or they're getting steps repaired and they're spending lots and lots of money. Why? Because they keep hitting stuff on the ground. So they hit speed humps, they hit driveways. So whilst 10 centimeters is the rule, our recommendation is at least 13 centimeters or 130 millimeters, but you want to try and aim for 150 millimeters. That's the ideal height, so 15 centimeters. We find that at that 15 centimeter mark, when you're driving over speed humps and driveways, you tend to kind of not hit anything. But if you're down at that 10 centimeters, there's a lot of cars that are out there, like a standard HSV off the shelf is around about 10 centimeters. And when you see them driving, they're always bottoming out. So there's a lot of low cars out there that are legal, but they hit the ground. So 10 centimeters or 100 millimeters is the minimum height clearance that you need from the ground. However, our recommendation is to aim for between 13 to 15 centimeters or 130 to 150 mil, 150 being the ideal situation. So hopefully that helps with your question. Thanks very much again for tuning in. Thanks for sending in the questions. Please remember to send in more and more questions, and please remember to subscribe to our channel. Hit the button that looks a bit like this. As I said before, we'd love your support on the subscriptions. We want to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so hit that button. We'd love to have you on board. Thanks again, and see you next time.